Welcome to the LynnSanity, a podcast for the Running Hook Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the LynnSanity podcast, a part of the Running Hook Podcast Network. And before we get going, please don't be afraid to rate, review, comment on this episode. Talk to us about it on social media. Give us a 5 stars. Give us a 5 stars for how sexy JD and I look if you're watching on video. If you're listening to our voices and you're like, my God, these two are attractive, don't be afraid to give us a 5 star as well. We're coming for tremendous content today. And just don't be afraid to, possibly hear some good old fashioned rant talk from the two of us today. It should be fantastic. We got a great episode coming your way. So like I said, please don't be afraid to review this. Give us 5 stars. If you want to give us less than 5 stars, please do that on Alex's pod. But without further ado, we will get going. And JD, I mean, we did not. We're gonna go through the series just a little bit. The only series that we're not going to touch on is Heat and Bucks, because the Bucks and the Heat, Bucks demolished them. We don't want to talk about it. We talked about it on Monday. You smoked them. But, we are going to talk about, we're going to start off with the Eastern Conference series that we do have, that we weren't able to get any information on too much until their last game, which was played on, I believe, on Tuesday. The Nets beating Boston and just being silly, JD. I mean, this is what we expect. This is what we expected from them. But if you told me that they would combine for 85 points in a series, the most by any trio in playoff series history, in league history, first off, would you believe me? And then second off, it just seems like we aren't even seeing the best version of this team. It seems like we are just seeing them just put pieces together. And first off, just what are your initial thoughts on Brooklyn beating Boston, and how do you see Brooklyn moving into the next round?
Easy. They made easy work. The game they lost was a game they wasn't aggressive enough, in my opinion. They guys game 4. It was game 4 for me. And KD had 42. Kyrie had 39.
Oh, come on.
Harden had 23 and 18. I mean, it was too easy.
Yeah, right.
And the one thing I said, as soon as we start talking about this, I needed a Kyrie game.
Yeah, you did. And
that was the game for me. He stepped on the logo. I said, man, if it's not one thing about Kyrie hold grudges. It don't matter who it is. Kyrie remember the smallest thing, and he took it out. And I was so happy. Then he followed up 16 points, 11 rebounds. I'm like, okay. I mean, I definitely think we haven't seen the best of them. I think the next round we're going to see the next round will be fireworks, just because I think, as much as people say neither team can stop each other, I think we're going to see Brooklyn show how dominant they really are. Because let's just say this.
Yeah.
Anybody that make Bruce Brown look good.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even used to like Bruce Brown. I'm a Bruce Brown fan now. I can't even believe it. Bruce Brown is a factor every play.
He is.
Tyler Johnson.
He's good.
They tried to kick Tyler Johnson out the league, and this guy's serving. I mean, what can't they do?
Right.
People lucky that Aldridge had where he had to go through. Yeah. It's unfortunate because if they still had Aldridge too, he had 21 points in 19 minutes the last game he played, with 8 rebounds to 6 assists and 2 blocks. What would any team be able to do? What would Milwaukee do? What would Milwaukee do? Hey, Brooke, Aldridge is feasting right now. Please go stop him.
Oh gosh.
Hey, Giannis, Kevin Durant is being Kevin Durant. Can you really stop him? Chris Middleton, go slow down James Harden.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew gonna do the best job, but
Sure.
it's Kyrie Irving.
Sure.
It's not too many people that's gonna stop Kyrie Irving. I mean, we seen Kyrie get in his bag, go through the double with Brogdon and Chris Middleton. They on his highlight tape, so it ain't like Milwaukee don't know what Kyrie could do. Drew gonna be able to do a little bit, but I'm telling you, I think that in that series alone, they're gonna go up another level just because. Now Milwaukee is being looked at as, can they really be stopped? Brooklyn don't have defense. Well, Brooklyn showed one person can't beat them. Yeah, Tatum has put up absolutely phenomenal numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's nuts because when you're looking at what they can do, especially if you're looking at it from the Brooklyn side of things. I mean, like you said, game 4, it had everything that you would have wanted them to do after the response of losing earlier, right? But then they just turned it up. And, you know, like you said, you were really begging for Kyrie to have that game.
I was.
And, you know, when I think this series really showed for me, JD, is like, I understand that people really like to say, well, Kyrie Irving was just unbelievable with his time in LeBron. And he had this unbelievable role with LeBron. Dude, this is his best role.
Man.
Like when this is the best Kyrie. This is the best I've seen. Then I think on because when you see this guy play, he's not worried about a lot of the other things that he had to do in Boston. He's not as worried about trying to get all these guys these certain touches at these certain spots. Now that's James Harden, who's better at it than you, and that's okay.
Much better.
Kyrie Irving is one of the best bucket getters that our generation will ever see, JD. That our generation will ever see. Because like you said, can you guard him one-on-one? Probably not.
No.
Probably not. He's one of, if you made me not guard 5 NBA players one-on-one, I don't want to guard Kyrie Irving. He's in my top 5 of players I don't want to have to guard one-on-one.
And he might be number one.
He might be number one because his finishing ability, his unique ability to do what is needed. I honestly think he didn't play bad on defense, and I think that's a big key for them.
I mean, he averaged over a block for this series.
Yeah, I mean, he's a player to me that when his defense is on, it's going to change how we start looking at this team in the long haul.
Absolutely.
Forget about just this series against Boston, right, where Kemba was out and Peyton Pritchard was playing all those minutes.
Kemba.
Kyrie is a good defender. When he's on and when he's thinking about it.
When he chooses to lock in defensively, he does a good job.
He's totally good.
You know, one thing for me, I said this and people be raising eyebrows. I think Kyrie Irving is the most skilled basketball player ever. I think he does everything perfectly. I mean, the best handle. He can shoot off the dribble. He can shoot off a screen. He can spot up. And everything is everything look like it's technically sound. He finishes just as good with the left hand with the right. You want to know how skilled this guy is? My pops get mad when we watch Kyrie and Kyrie try to finishes everything with his left hand. That's how skilled he is. Because if he missed, my daddy say, why he just didn't take the right-handed layup? It would have been easy. That's how skilled Kyrie is. He could just do everything that good. And then you take it to just this here. When you think about one-on-one situations,
sure,
you can't stay in front of him.
No.
He's a 3-level scorer.
No.
And the most elite scorers in this league come playoff time get it in the mid-range. Kyrie Irving dominates from the mid-range. And he's a guard with footwork that can post up. He doesn't have to back you down to get a bucket. His footwork is just that great. It's like,
oh, it's nuts.
I was telling AB, I said, Kyrie not my favorite point guard. Everybody know Ben Simmons my favorite point guard.
Sure.
But Kyrie Irving is my favorite point guard to watch. If it's three players I love to watch at the point guard position, it's Kyrie Irving at number one.
Sure.
And he's got the dynamic to change any series. And the worst part about this whole equation, he's the third option for Brooklyn.
I mean, when we think about it in those terms, like that's wild to think about. I mean, like this guy is easily a top 30 player, and you know he's a third option, and it's kind of nuts. But
you can't put that kind of skill package together and put them as a third option unless you're the Brooklyn Nets.
Unless you're the Brooklyn Nets, yeah.
Anywhere else he goes, he's 1 or 2 easy. But see. Yeah. Brooklyn, yeah. I want to credit Steve Nash.
Sure.
Not just for the Bruce Brown thing, but he told Kyrie, I want you to be Kyrie Irving. I want Kevin Durant to be Kevin Durant. But we have to let James Harden be James Harden of 2016-17.
Sure.
We want James Harden to go ahead and put every play into action. Why? Because as selfish as James Harden can be when he was with Houston, when he chose to get everybody involved, James Harden looked like one of the most complete players on the offensive end just because we know what he could do scoring. Now he got the efficiency. I mean, the game that they lost, he was 7 for 11 from the three. The game that they lost, he went 7 for 11 from the three. We don't really talk about James Harden being efficient, but because he's in this role now, well, I say out of every 10 plays, he's passing 8 of them.
Yeah.
He's looking for a open man, 8 of those plays. So the 2 that he goes to attack, not only are you scared to come help because you know he want to pass.
Come on.
But he is so sound offensively.
Oh,
You bending at his will.
Oh, yeah.
And the efficient James Harden just take that team to another level. And do I need to talk about Kevin Durant?
I'll say something about Harden before we get to it, because I think, Harden's amazing. Like, when you can go from this type of role that he had at Houston where he did everything, and then now it's a completely different role. The sad part is the facts. If you look at the stats of this, the stats suggest that he could be doing something similar. But dude, if you watch him play, it's a completely different Harden.
Completely different.
If you just look at stats, the stats would suggest that you're probably looking at the same guy. But the way that he's playing right now in Brooklyn, if you look at eye test and eye test only, it's
best Harden ever. This is the best James Harden.
You could make the argument. He's been that good. He got his first. So the thing with Harden is Harden in his last game, he got the triple-double for them. Shockingly, it was the first triple-double that anybody had for the Nets in the postseason since Jason Kidd in 2007. He was on another planet. This guy was on another planet. And I think when you have a guy like this, who, like you said, is who's completely looking to be a point guard and pass first, but then have the opportunity to take over, is big. And he made some comments last night, JD, that I'm curious to hear your thoughts on. He said after the game, he goes, my mind's already on Milwaukee. Probably 15 minutes after the game, James Harden goes, oh, I'm already thinking about it. I'm already thinking about how we match up against them. I'm already thinking about how I can attack them. Harden wants that championship, baby. He wants it. He wants it. Because I mean, this is a bigger question, JD, but if James Harden wins the championship, it's a bigger deal for James Harden to win a championship compared to any other Brooklyn Net. Is that crazy to you? I think Harden needs the championship more than Durant, more than Irving,
Absolutely.
dang near more than Nash. I think Harden needs a championship more. If Harden wins a championship, we're going to be talking about his legacy, right, to a whole other level.
It validates James Harden. Because, see, when you think like right now, we know James Harden can go down there as the best to never win a ring, right?
Yeah.
But it goes to a whole nother validation level because it's always been his style of play that took him away from possibly being the best without a ring. We could say he was probably the most skilled, but some people argue he was the best without a ring just because of his game style. But the way he playing now, he's not dribble. He's getting rid of it. He's coming back to get it. He's playing a free-flowing game. And because the adjustment he's made to his game, which I said at the beginning of the season, if he could adjust, they would be dominant. I didn't know if he could or not. But with the way he playing now, not only is he getting these guys another ring, this will be KD's third, Kyrie's second, but look at who else he validates as a top power forward of all time. He's making the infamous jump over everybody, Blake Griffin, a champion. Blake Griffin, arguably outside of Harden, is the biggest name on the team without a championship. And he definitely needs it because he's been a part of too many blown situations.
Yeah.
And we've seen Blake Griffin push Milwaukee a couple years ago without any legs.
Sure.
You think he doesn't have some bad blood? We know he hates Giannis. JD. He hates Giannis. It's a known thing he hates Giannis. You think he's not finna try to perform at the best of his ability? Milwaukee is the team that they wanted just for the simple fact it's too many people over there that the Brooklyn Nets have intentions at going at. I haven't seen since Giannis became an all-star any game him and Kevin Durant matched up. Kevin Durant at least tried to make one play to embarrass him. Going back to 2015-16, he's always made a play to try to embarrass him. Then you think of James Harden. Yeah, him and PJ Tucker still good friends.
Sure.
You think he don't want to do something to PJ because they had words this season too.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
You think Kyrie Irving, Kyrie just need to know y'all putting Drew Holiday on him. Say you put Drew Holiday on him and he gonna feel so y'all think he can stop me.
Right.
Blake Griffin has his thing with Giannis. Bruce Brown plays every game trying to prove he still belong. Tyler Johnson plays like he's trying to still prove that he belong. Sure. Shamet is in the best role of his career. I didn't even know Shamet could handle the ball like this.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It'd be him and Kyrie on the floor, and he's initiating the offense. Then we got Joe Harris. Joe Harris going to be there regardless. It's a team where a lot of these guys feel like they got something to prove and got personal vendettas with people that's on the Milwaukee Bucks.
Sure.
I think that they go out and try to kill Milwaukee. I don't think it go past 5 or 6.
Holy cow.
I think
wow.
I think 5 or 6. I think that's how serious Brooklyn. I'll say this.
You're not doubting Brooklyn in this series.
No, not at all. I think I'll say this. If Kevin Durant chooses to go 1-4 flat, 5 to 10 plays straight, he scored 90% of them. Then what you do? Kevin Durant hot. Now you gonna help off?
Sure.
On the unselfish player. You were gonna help off on the unselfish player.
Right.
Where you got guys like Kyrie, Harden. Bruce Brown might be one of the best slashers in the game with the way he playing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then you got
he cuts well.
Then you got Blake Griffin, he's proven to be a duo threat.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
Then and you don't let KD do it, you let Harden.
Sure. Yeah, 100%.
The defense may be a question, but I think with their competitiveness, it's no way because people talk about Milwaukee could be able to score at them. Milwaukee has one pure bucket every play. And that's Chris Middleton, who can get a bucket from anywhere.
Sure.
Drew Holiday, I love Drew Holiday, one of my favorite guys. Drew Holiday doesn't have the ball all the time to where he can put that pressure on Kyrie. Now, versus Miami, I love that he had the ball a lot. I don't think that they're going to do the same thing this series just because they want Giannis to put pressure on Brooklyn. But at the same time, they don't have a problem giving up a 2 because they got guaranteed bucket getters. And then they're not going to risk getting in foul trouble, outscore us. They're going to make you outscore them. While you trying to outscore them, you have to also try to stop them from scoring because it's going to be a lot easier for them to outscore you than it is for you. You have to get a stop. They don't have to get a stop.
Sure. Yeah.
Now you got to take in the foul trouble game. Giannis fouls a lot.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday. Drew is a very poised player. But we seen when he has to be the only defender out there, you can't put him on Kevin Durant if Giannis in foul trouble. PJ Tucker come in, you put him on Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant laces PJ Tucker. We've seen this for years.
Sure.
Where you put him? Oh, Harden?
Right.
I don't see that stopping Harden either. That's the thing. I just don't. I think that Brooklyn don't have to get a stop to win, and that's the difference between them and every team in the playoffs. They don't have to get a stop to win. Every other team needs to get key stops. If Brooklyn get one stop, they already 3 possessions ahead now.
Right.
With one stop.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and going back a little bit to what you were saying about Bruce Brown, like Bruce Brown has a tie to this, right? He was on that playoff team with Blake in Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't play like a star or anything. He was on like 15 minutes a game, but I mean, I'm sorry, but players remember who they get knocked out by.
Yeah.
I mean, Bruce Brown will remember that. Joe Harris. I mean, we didn't even talk about Joe Harris, JD. Joe Harris is a lights out shooter. If you try to help off his man, he's going to make you pay. This is by far his best season. If you look at the percentages, the percentages suggest he's the best 3-point shooter in the league, JD.
Every time the shot goes through the hoop, it's like a whistle. That's how beautiful it sounds.
Yeah.
Every time he shoot.
Sure. And he's bought in on the defense. He's bought in on the defensive end. Harris gives you so much more defensively. And I think to be honest with you, he's more physical. And I think this is the time, like against a Heat team in a closeout game, we didn't really see the impact of no Dante DiVincenzo. But no Dante DiVincenzo in this series for Milwaukee is going to really blow. Like that's going to blow hard. Because if you really think about it, I'm just serious though, JD. It's really going to blow for them. It's because Bryn Forbes is a good player. But he's not close to the defender.
He's nowhere near the defender. I love Bryn Forbes.
Sure, he can shoot it, but he's not the defensive player.
Absolutely agree.
And Brooklyn isn't going to sit there and be like, oh, we're just going to leave Bryn Forbes open. Yeah, right. They're going to make sure that guy doesn't. He was the reason that he propelled Milwaukee to these big wins.
Yeah.
So you're not seeing Bryn Forbes. I think Bryn Forbes is going to have a tough time defensively in this matchup.
Absolutely.
Pat Connaughton, fine role player, but you can't play him an insane amount of minutes. DiVincenzo's a much better defender. The way that I see this for Milwaukee here is they're going to, I agree with you, Giannis foul trouble to me is the key to this series. Because when he's in the game, he's going to dominate. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts to it.
Absolutely.
He has averaged 40 points and 10 rebounds and 5 assists in the 3 games against Brooklyn. It's unbelievable.
I would be surprised if he doesn't average over 35 for this series. My thing is,
sure.
Now it's the playoffs. I've been telling everybody for years.
Sure.
Well, I've said, look at the last 6-7 years of Giannis in the playoffs.
Sure.
The fourth quarter comes, if he already didn't played over 30-some minutes, check the lungs. I don't think he has the lungs. And with Milwaukee playing as fast that they're going to play,
sure,
trying to get out on a break, I think that when it comes down to these fourth quarters, if it's a close game,
sure,
Giannis will check out. And I like Giannis, but
oh yeah, sure.
I'm not blind to what I see, and I've seen it for years. Giannis will check out. Every free throw will be short. And that's the sign that a player is tired, right? Every free throw will be short. And that's just how it's gonna go. Sure. Look, I mean, we can even go back to the Toronto series. As great as a rebound as Giannis is, in a closeout game, you let the other team's best player have 17 rebounds, 2 of them offensively in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Giannis, I hope that he has the lungs to make it a better series, and he's poised enough on the defensive end. But to be honest, I don't really see them having a long. At the most, they go 6. It will not be a 7-game series. But if Giannis don't got the lungs, 5.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's a great point. I mean, this series is going to be. I think it's going to be really good.
It's going to be exciting.
I mean, because when you think about it, you know, a little nuggets I had was Katie and Giannis, the 4th pair of opponents to face off after averaging 34 points per game against each other. That's pretty insane. Not to mention the fact that according to Elias Sports Bureau research, I read this on an article today. Giannis's 39.7 points per game is the second most by a player against an opponent in which he faced in the playoffs since the NBA-ABA merger. Last person, Kobe Bryant, 05-06 against the Suns. Giannis and Durant obviously will go at each other. That'll be fun to watch. The coaching is going to be fun to watch because I think Budenholzer had a very solid coaching performance, and I think Nash needs to give credit. I mean, Nash needs to get some credit as well, and
absolutely.
I mean, I'll be interested to see what Nash can bring. I mean, this is where you separate yourself as a coach, right? It's nice to have D'Antoni, which I bet we'll see more of a D'Antoni influence in this series.
Absolutely.
But I think this is going to be a really fun series to watch. I'm very excited we get to cover it. Next up on the Western Conference slate, I'm going to save the best series for last, JD. I'm going to do Suns and Lakers. That's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to do Suns, Lakers. Suns and Lakers. JD, the Phoenix Suns are up 3-2.
I love
it. With the chance to take this whole series. Now, the question I have for you, I'm going to be Mr. Overreaction. Okay? I'm a little hype about DeAndre Ayton. I like him like, a father likes his child. I think Ayton's a beast, okay? Can the Phoenix Suns, I like the Phoenix Suns to win this series. Am I stupid? Can they get there? Can they win the series and take the Lakers? Or are you buying that the Lakers can win 2 straight and send Phoenix back?
Anthony Davis is not fully healthy. The Lakers lose this series.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to get me to complain about the Suns winning. Oh, yeah.
I gotta go Phoenix. And it showed yesterday, just based off of one thing. Phoenix play as a team. They can go 1-on-1 with Chris Paul and Devin Booker, but they play as a team. The Lakers put 99.9% on LeBron and AD. Okay, you take AD out. LeBron was gassed by the end of the first quarter. He put so much into the first 7 minutes. He was gassed by the end of the first quarter just to make them compete. It's over with for the Lakers.
Wow.
Now, granted, I did want to see them go against my boys. I was hoping that, my boy and his guys, I was hoping they met up in the Western Conference Finals.
Were you hoping for a Hogshead versus Hall rivalry? Is that what you were hoping for?
I was ready to give him hell for 7 days.
Okay.
I mean, for 7 games.
Okay.
I was ready. But see, it ain't gonna go that way if they lose, when they lose. I still got some things I gotta say because
sure.
Nobody let me sleep last year.
Nobody let you.
I couldn't sleep last year, and it wasn't like my guy didn't show up.
Yeah,
I was being tormented, and my guy showed up.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well, I guess that kind of, before we dive too deep into the Suns, let's talk about it from the Lakers' perspective. I mean, LeBron, I don't know, JD. I when I watch him, I mean, this is so weird to see that the first thing that went through my brain is he healthy? That's the first thing that went through my brain, right? Because it just, I mean, I'm not trying to, I have been very big on the Suns for an awfully long time, since the beginning, since the bubble, right? So I like what they're doing, but let's face the facts. Like, I like Mikal Bridges, but LeBron James 2 or 3 years ago would have bullied him straight to the rim.
Every play.
Cameron Johnson would have bullied straight to the rim.
He would have went around Crowder like he did before. He
would have, right. Like, that is a different, I don't understand why there is there strategy to it?
Absolutely.
Like, do you think LeBron intentionally
they playing a smart box. They boxing them.
And do you think that LeBron has a strategy to which he felt, okay, well, maybe this isn't my time to go off. Anthony Davis is out. I'm going to try to go supernova game 6 because
and buy him an extra game.
Right. Do you think that's crazy? Do you think that theory in my head is crazy?
Nah, I mean, I've said it since he came back. I didn't think he was fully healthy, and I didn't think they could win if he wasn't fully healthy. Not bringing in the fact Anthony Davis is hurt every 2 seconds. So,
yeah.
To bring in now that he might need it to try to just save a game, because no matter what, if LeBron went for 50, 20, and 20, they still was going to lose. It was just that much going in Phoenix' way. Like, Phoenix had the momentum. The fact that Chris Paul looked healthy last game.
Yeah.
And game 4, they were going to win no matter what game 5. LeBron knew game 5 was tough, but game 6 was always going to be more important. Game 6 was going to be the most important game no matter what, just because he may or may not have Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis play, it's because they fear the fact that they don't think they could beat him regardless.
No.
Now, if he sits out game 6 and plays game 7, they got a better. They could steal it.
Yeah,
but sure. LeBron gonna have to set it off in game 6. He's gonna have to be 2014 LeBron.
Well, he's gonna have to be 2014 LeBron, and then Dennis Schroeder has to actually make a bucket. Dennis Schroeder went 0 points. Like,
I love it.
I mean,
I love it. Should have signed that extension when they offered it.
Right. Yeah. He had it. He had a nice extension for him. He said, I'm better. Are you? 0 for 9 when I need you. 0 for 9 when I need you. And I hate saying this because I've been a big defender of this guy. But KCP, what are you doing? You're my shooter. What are you doing? He didn't even take a 3. Wes
Matthews been out playing him. Wes Matthews has been out playing him.
I mean, I loved him last year, and then KCP doesn't shoot, and then I have Kuzma having to take 13 shots, which I don't like anyway, because he's trying to take a lot from the 3, and that's not his thing, right? And then I there's a couple things that I think they're going to try to do differently. I want to see more Talen Horton-Tucker. I'm
shocked he hasn't got more time.
Draymond Green last night, I think, had a terrific point. He basically said, look, they need some sort of creativity, right? They need guys who can create the shot. Well, Markieff Morris can't create a shot. Andre Drummond cannot create a shot. Kyle Kuzma, God bless him, when he tries to do it too much, it's not good. Wes Matthews is a very, catch and shoot type of guy. Caruso, same thing. I think they really need Tucker in this next game. Wouldn't be surprised to see him a lot more minute-wise. I think when you look at the Lakers, I don't know who to trust. Who do I trust? Like LeBron, if Anthony Davis comes back, which I would have to figure they would try to have him come back game 6. I would think. So if he comes back, he plays the way he's been playing this series. Let's just say that. The way he's been playing this series, which is not the greatest, Not insane, but it's not anything outlandish. And LeBron, maybe he has a good game. Maybe it's a better game than he has in the past. But, I don't see them doing anything to attack the balance of Phoenix right now. Monty Williams is demolishing Frank Vogel right now. He's demolishing.
Absolutely.
The rotations of the Lakers are a joke. Look in the freaking mirror. Because the fact is, I think Gasol should probably get more than 10 minutes. Even though he was in foul trouble, he's probably get more than 10 minutes. I don't really understand why you've just basically abandoned Harrell. I don't really get it, but
I do.
You might. Why, JD? Why did they abandon him? Why are you playing Markieff Morris? Why are you starting Markieff Morris and not Montrezl Harrell?
They realized Montrezl Harrell game is not suited for that team. They went and grabbed names. They didn't go and get somebody that fitted what they needed. Now, see, we went based off of that in the offseason and said they won offseason. But now everybody's saying the Lakers don't got a bench. Nobody agreed they won offseason. Lakers won offseason, but now we seeing Trez lost a lot of minutes when Drummond got there. And to take in this point, he can't shoot. And it's hard to put him out there when you want LeBron to go dominate the paint. You want AD to go dominate the paint. You don't want them shooting more jumpers. And Trez is a rim runner. All you want him to do is go to the paint. So if you got your best two guys who's best dominating around the paint area, what room does that leave for Trez? And he's not the rebounder of Drummond, so you want to pat the paint because Drummond can get you third, fourth opportunities.
Sure. Then
you got Marc Gasol, who's obviously not only a better defender, a much better shooter, a much better passer. And sure. I think it gets to the place where they realize Trez, he just don't fit for them.
No.
He wasn't the fit for them. Sure. But they knew it was one thing taking them from the Clippers because Trez gave the Lakers problems last season.
Sure he did.
But they didn't realize they couldn't use them for themselves.
No, that's a good point. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I feel like if Montrez is on the Phoenix Suns, he's getting all the backup minutes from the big perspective. But like, the Lakers,
he'll kill it for Phoenix.
They have too many. They just have so many guys. I think they're completely unsure of their rotation every game.
Absolutely.
Which I don't know what to blame there. That's a combination of players and there's a combination of coaching because you know, there's a problem. There's a problem both ways.
It's all front office.
It's all front office.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Why do you think front office?
Vogel got to make the players that he has work for him, right? So he gets a lot of the blame, but at the same time, front office is the one who made these signings.
Sure.
So, I mean, you can only put out there what you got, but at the same time, he doesn't know what he has. His rotations are ridiculous. It's so funny how Taylor Horton-Tucker he was getting a lot of minutes at the end of the season and playoff starter. And I mean, you see him on the sideline with Casper the Friendly Ghost drinking water.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's weird. It's weird.
I don't get it. I think that it's a big part on coaching, but also front office you got to know your personnel. You got to know who you got based off why you signing these players. Sure. Now, we didn't see that Drummond was going to come to them. I can't blame them for that. But at the same time, when you knew that you were going to sign Andre Drummond, why didn't you push to trade another big? You should have. Trez would have been a high trade target for multiple teams. Why not try to trade him?
Yep. No, that's a good point. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. It seems like the rotation is just too wacky for me. Everybody's talking about Suns in 7. Give me Suns in 6. Give me Suns in 6.
I'm not upset about that.
I think give me Suns in 6. I don't know what they're going to do differently. LeBron goes supernova. Okay. Anthony Davis goes for a nice game again. Okay. I mean, let's just move on to the Phoenix Suns side of this, JD. Their balanced attack is ridiculous. They're getting contributions from everybody. Everybody is shutting up about Crowder now. People just need to shut up. As far as I'm concerned, he's playing much better. I mean, sure, he's at 9 threes, 3 of 9 from 3, but he's playing much better. Bridges,
he look a lot better.
He does, and Bridges is just making the plays that you just love with him, right? He's just making every little play. He had that one play in the first half where I thought it was a total miss, and then all of a sudden, Mikal Bridges goes in like Superman, and tips in that play. Probably should have been a foul.
Should have been a foul. Drummond pulled his arm.
They didn't call it, but those are the type of plays that you pay him for. In my personal opinion, the consistent player for this team, DeAndre Ayton, dude, he's been the most consistent guy, man. He's killing it. He's killing it every game. I mean, come on, Chris Paul looking fine. I mean, obviously, you have to keep in mind that he's still bothered with the shoulder, but Chris Paul is even though he may not have the stats to suggest, he's
impact.
Back. It's the ability. I'll eat it a little bit on Cameron Payne. Okay, I thought Cameron Payne is like riding a roller coaster. It's like riding the Voyage at Holiday World. You got the big
been
drop
hot lately. He's been
hot. He's been hot, but I don't like him late in the game. But I like Chris Paul late in the game because Chris Paul is going to make the right decisions and he's going to get me in the right tempo.
Absolutely.
Right? Booker with 30. JD, this team is so loaded. And what's to stop them from winning Game 6? Maybe according to Zach, Kid Mauer or Scott Foster are going to come in the game and they're going to rip them off.
Maybe, but Zach with that one.
Right,
referees.
He might be saying that the NBA is going to produce a movie at the Hollywood studios. They're going to produce the movie. They're going to set up everything correctly.
And they're in LA.
And they're in LA. They might say we got to get them Game 6. But in all seriousness, how do you see the Suns, man? Because it just seems like they're ascending, and I'm just not doubting them for Game 6. I'm sorry.
If they continue to play like this, what's the conference finals bound?
Come on. Yeah.
I hope they win this series for sure.
Oh, come on. Yeah. I mean, first off, I mean, how do you not like Monty Williams? That's number one.
I love Monty Williams.
How do you not like Monty Williams? I mean,
I've always liked Monty Williams, and I think not only is he out coaching Frank Vogel.
Oh, yeah, he is.
But it looked like he's letting his players be themselves.
Right.
While it's like he's the puppet master.
Yeah.
It's like he's putting all these guys in perfect places and saying, be free. But you got to be free when I place you here.
Sure. And
it's like everything just is like watching the orchestra. He's just conducting orchestra.
Yeah. And the other thing that I didn't think would happen in this series, I'll just be honest, right? I thought LeBron and Davis were kind of the clear cut. They were like, if you had to rank like the top 5 players, they were like clearly, Devin Booker needs to be in that little small group. Like he's canceling out the Lakers. He's canceling out the Lakers' best player, which is nuts.
Because every night he's matching one of them.
He's canceling out. But then I know I've talked to you about how I love to do top 8 in a series. Give me your top 8 players. Well, breaking news. The Suns own that list. They own that list. Telling you,
outside Anthony Davis and LeBron, you might gotta go to Nets.
Right. I would take Crowder over Crowder, Bridges, Ayton, Paul, and Payne and Johnson. I'm taking all 6 of them before I'm touching a third Laker.
Yeah, because
that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Schroeder has been terrible. And this is the thing I want to hint on something I said before. Drummond still is bullying when he's in the game down there.
Sure.
But one thing I noticed DeAndre Ayton has been doing, even while being bullied by Drummond,
sure,
he's finding angles to be effective.
Yeah.
Drummond is moving everybody around down there. It's like Aiden just finding the perfect angle for a tip in, or to bounce it off of Drummond, to keep the ball in the air and let Bridges or Cam Johnson come down there and leap for it. It's like he's still being worked, but he's doing this is one of the oldest cliches. Work smarter, not harder. He know he's not stronger than Drummond.
Yep.
So he's doing the one thing Drummond not doing, using this man. It's literally what one thing I can say, Drummond is consistent at everything. And he has shown to be consistent in not thinking.
Fair.
That's what Embiid used against him, and we seeing Aiden use it against him right now. Well, yeah, you probably stronger, more physically dominant than me. Yeah. But if you just walking me under the rim, it's not gonna take much but one hand and a tip.
Right.
And that's keeping the ball alive or possibly a bucket.
Right.
And I don't think Drummond even is aware of that, because when he's walking them outwards, when he's boxing them out, taking them another way, that's letting guys like Cam Payne and Chris Paul creep in, because they are both attacking guards.
Right.
So, I don't think he's seeing that what he's doing not working. He a workhorse. He just doing what he know, and Aiden is using it against him. Aiden is playing like a vet. He's not playing like a young.
He's not.
He's playing like a vet.
Yep, he is. He is. I mean, Zach called him his third best center the other day. Look, I think when you look at the Suns, it's like, you know, they're getting production. They're getting production from just, I mean, crying out loud. They finally played Corey. They finally played Craig. They finally played Craig. I was begging for them to play Craig.
He played great.
He's just competing. He's working so hard on the glass. He's making smart cuts. He's not, even though the stats indicate from his last game he didn't play all that well, 2 points, 1 of 7 from the floor. He's just giving you this trusted, reliable guy who can get things done in the right ways, right? And I think that's really an important step for him, you know. And that's what I think Cam Johnson does for them. And I what they get from the bench is just smart pieces. Like Etuan Moore is a smart player, but he doesn't play for them.
I love Etuan,
but he's good. And you know, it's players like that Phoenix has that they're not going to lose you the game.
Yeah, they come in and they can still produce and be effective.
They're just that's all they're doing. I like him in Game 6, JD. You got a prediction for this?
I say if Anthony Davis play, I'm gonna go to Lakers, because Anthony Davis and LeBron will combine for none less than 25 free throws.
So you got them winning Game 6.
If Anthony Davis play. If Anthony Davis doesn't play or is on a minutes restriction, Phoenix win by none less than 15.
And then Game 7, do you have the Suns and the Lakers taking the series?
Phoenix wins this series hands down.
Phoenix wins the series. Okay.
No matter what, Phoenix wins this series.
Interesting. Okay, interesting. I can't believe we're saying that. I hope I don't jinx it. Next up,
Phoenix Western Conference Finals bound.
Oh, please. I'd love to see it. Next up, we got the Blazers and the Nuggets, which was a classic, a total classic. Double OT classic. I mean, Damian Lillard was just on another level.
Free day.
Nikola Jokic seriously made some of the best passes I've ever seen in my freaking life. It was a remarkable game. But let's start with the Blazers.
Please.
Let's start with the Blazers perspective.
Please.
So, okay, before we get into all the shots, I want to say
I wouldn't even go get into the shots. That's interesting. I wouldn't go.
Are you kidding me? That you lost, or that you were losing by 20 points in a game that it mattered. What are we doing? The Nuggets aren't throwing. The Nuggets aren't throwing a lineup in the starting five better than yours. The Blazers have the better start. The Blazers have the better starting five, and they get killed. They get killed early in the game. They didn't deserve to win this game. Forget about all the shots that Damian Lillard made. They don't deserve to win a game where you were down early by 20. You played behind the 8 ball the entire time. Now, you can say Denver blew it, whatever. But I'm focusing on the Portland perspective.
I don't think Denver blew it.
You can't start by being down by 20. You can't start by that. And then overall, like, you know, we'll talk about Lillard. I'll let you have the mic on Lillard. Lillard had 55. The Blazers had a decent balance. Robert Covington had a really good game. Nobody's talking about it. 19 points, 11 rebounds, because everybody wants to talk about the missed dunks, which I think is a bunch of horse crap.
No, I'm pissed about the missed dunks too. But look at the Carmelo, 3 of 11. Oh, that's what I want to get into.
McCollum, 7 of 22. JD, what's going on? This team's relying on offense. They're not scoring.
Let me tell you. They ass, just for the simple fact they didn't do the one thing they supposed to do. As a team that can't defend, you have to be consistent scoring. Why didn't you help Damian Lillard? That's my question. Yep. Where was Dame's help? And you know what? Terry Stotts is a terrible coach. He doesn't need a job. You know what I realized?
Sure.
I kept saying this, and I said it last time. Jokic owns Nurkic. Cantor at least makes him work on one side. Why are you constantly taking Cantor? Cantor was finishing on Jokic. Cantor forced Jokic into more tough shots. Jokic took, I believe, 6 threes as Cantor as his primary defender. Or they were just super long twos or tough fades. Right. Well, I seen him take 3 threes in a row when Cantor was his defender. Then he tried his patented turnaround, and it came up short as Cantor as his defender. As soon as Nurkic came in the game, fouled him out. Immediately.
It was bad of Stotts when he had the 5 fouls to not take him out immediately because that he's already gotten fouled out twice.
Exactly.
So, like, that was just that to me. That was just bad officiate. That was like bad. That was bad.
He's a terrible coach. He's a terrible coach.
You've been hating on Stotts. You've been hating on him.
It's not even hate. It's just speaking facts.
I know you are.
I don't have nothing against him personally. It's just he's a terrible coach. I don't see why Cantor wasn't in the game. Cantor at least was making him work on the defensive end. And then this is something. If you put Covington on him, you have to have live bodies in and out of that. I love Melo, but let's be honest, Melo is he's a hard body, not a live body. Derrick Jones Jr., Rondé Hollis Jefferson, it's the guys I'm sending jumping in and out that lane on who gonna come help. Just for the fact they are athletic, long, wiry guys. He played Rondé Hollis Jefferson every couple minutes, and the one consistent is the energy of the team get higher. Why not do that even more? Derrick Jones Jr., he probably can't give you much, but we know his athleticism is gonna come up big versus this Denver team. I agree.
The
CJ, too many bailout plays. I think the officiating was I hated the officiating, to be honest. I felt like they let them play at one moment, then it's ticky-tack fouls. If you're going to let them play, let them play. I think Damian Lillard would have been won the game. They didn't call the 3. Shaq Harrison fouled him. They called the 3, but didn't give him the foul. Shaq fouled him. But even still, Melo and CJ have to be better. I think both of them was bailing Denver out. It looked like Melo a lot of times was thinking too hard when he got the ball. He should have just got it and went. He would have been a bucket. Denver can't guard him. CJ, I don't know what the hell CJ was doing besides just shooting shots.
Well, yeah.
He one of them guys that one-on-one situations.
Right.
He's a tough cover. Why are you bailing him out?
Right. There were a couple things I didn't understand. And this is going to sound like a complete shock to anybody who's ever listened to me talk. Cantor should have played a lot more in overtime. And I hate saying it.
I know.
But he just should have. I'm not a Cantor guy, but like you shouldn't have been playing Carmelo Anthony as much as you did.
I said
because the thing is like, well, I think Covington is he's a good defender.
Yeah.
He's a good defender. But like, let's just be honest. Like everybody and their mother knew that in the clutch, Nikola Jokic was getting the ball on the block.
And going to
work. That was the end of it. That was the end of it. like you were going to double Jokic and then then why wouldn't I try to have the bigger body?
Exactly.
Like why wouldn't I try to have Cantor, which I agree Cantor can't play defense. I'm clear on the record that Cantor can't play defense. But I just don't understand why Cantor wasn't in there just to provide a little more strength. Jokic was going to the refs every time saying Covington was bothering him with strength.
Yeah.
Are you really telling me that Covington is stronger than Cantor? Probably not. Covington's I didn't understand that at all from Portland's perspective because I would much rather have a guy like Cantor, like you said, just make Jokic work a little harder.
Taller and the longer body.
He'd roll harder.
I was just about to say that. If you watch that high pick and roll, every time whoever set the screen would fade out. Cantor was the only one diving to the rim, and he got buckets every time.
Every time. Yep.
What the hell is Terry Stotts? I'm telling you. If I was on the sideline with them, I would have been beating them with the scouting report every play. Because that high pick and roll with Dame and Cantor is unguardable by Denver just because they don't want to give up the three.
Sure.
They don't want to give up the three. Cantor was feasting going to the rim. And he's the only one who fights on every rebound with Jokic. Those little tips that Jokic get where he don't jump, he's not getting those with
He's
Cantor.
not getting those. No, not as much of them.
He has to work. He has to work a little more. It's not about saying, "Oh, Cantor can stop him." We know that. It's about can he tire him out? Can he make him work a little more? Don't give him a playoff. Cantor, don't give him a playoff.
Yeah,
Nurkic is different. You know he's not going to look for the bucket. He's trying to be. I hate that Bryce say Jokic light, but that's who he's trying to be. He's trying to be Jokic where he's just passing the ball. You got to be aggressive. Go at him.
No, that's fair. I mean, Nurkic wasn't Jokic light today. Hasn't been Jokic light ever. But I think this is it's an indictment on a lot of things. I mean, the other question, I feel like we have to talk about what Lillard did. In fact, he just made every shot and just kept hitting threes. And Austin Rivers, I don't even think Austin Rivers played bad defense. I don't think Shaq Harrison played bad defense.
He fouled him, though. I'm pissed they didn't call that foul.
It's just one of those things where it's like Lillard literally was just Here's a question I thought of. I'm curious to hear what you think. In a clutch shot, he's number one, right? In the league.
Yeah.
He's the best player in the clutch, right? In your opinion? And you know, because what he's doing is remarkable. But I was in awe watching him. He gave us a performance of the lifetime. I mean, just what were your thoughts on him, the way he played? Because I just thought it was insane.
Lost for words. You want to know what's funny?
Sure.
Dame was 4-6 from the three, 6 of 9 from the field. And I said, why the hell ain't he shooting more? I was pissed he wasn't shooting more.
Yeah, sure.
And as soon as he started letting that clip go, I said, there's no way they lose if one person is a threat.
Right.
If one person is a threat, they don't lose. And Terry Stotts made it easier taking out Cantor. Dame had 55 and 10 assists. If 4 of those assists is coming from a guy that's rolling to the rim. Why do you throw nothing but shooters on the floor? That's dumb as hell.
Yeah.
It's dumb as hell. If he got 4 instantly off just one guy rolling to the rim, don't you think it'll be a lot harder to try to trap him if you got a guy burrowing to the rim?
Right.
I'm like, oh
Right.
my. It's then CJ, what the hell, man? I'm at a loss for words because as great as Dame was, the pieces around him dragged him down.
Yeah.
Dame was easily the best player on the floor last night.
I will say, I do think we need to defend. I understand people are really critiquing the 2 dunks, but Covington had 19 and 11. He did.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Covington was great help. The problem
it was Powell and McCollum.
Covington shouldn't be the second best player.
No.
I think what Covington did was great. Yeah, the 2 dunks pissed me off, but at the same time, we wouldn't think about those 2 dunks if all the guys who's ahead of him,
right.
If all the guys who's ahead of him as far as importance come to that team,
right,
we wouldn't think nothing of Covington. We would instantly think Norman Powell. What was it AB said last week? He should be around 20 points tonight.
I agree with that.
Abysmal last night.
I agree.
CJ McCollum, we know he could get you 23 to 25 easy. I said it.
Yep.
Terrible last night.
Last night.
Melo, he's a walking 17 points when he's aggressive. He's a walking 17 points when he's aggressive. Yeah. When who was 11? When CJ went out this year, Melo was walking into 20 and 30 points.
Sure.
Terrible last night.
It was bad.
Nurkic, stop playing him. The team might be better if he just don't hit the floor.
I won't go there.
That's how bad Nurkic looks every time Jokic chooses to go at him. Every time Jokic chooses to go at him, Nurkic look like he don't even know what's going on.
Jokic has his number. He does.
Like I like Nurkic. I love Nurkic.
Yeah.
I think he's very good. But Jokic literally breaks him down in every facet of the game, and it looks like whenever he chooses to, it's like a bully. You know they gonna mess with you. You just don't know when. Yeah. Nurkic look hesitant every time Jokic does anything because he just knows he can't stop him.
Right.
I don't want nobody who has fear on the court. You can't have any fear when you're on the court.
No. And that, I feel like that leads us perfectly into Denver because they didn't show fear.
Monte Morris.
I mean, even like, so here's the big thing for me. Like, Malone would have had an insane amount of criticism had he lost this game. It would have been insane. The play designs were bad. Jokic inbounding was bad. I thought Millsap should have been in the game simply to inbound. I thought that they should have gone different directions and they didn't. But man, they came out of this win and they stuck with it. Like, that's a hard game to win, given the fact that like you were up 20 and they came back and yada. But dude, I was really impressed with what they brought, man. Like, I mean, I'll start with Morris.
Only Monte Morris.
But Morris. I think I will say that, like, I think people that are shocked by this, like, they've never seen it play.
Yeah.
Like people that are sitting there like, OMG, Monte Morris, like, they didn't see play. Yeah. Monte Morris is a top backup point guard. He's a top backup guard.
I don't personally like him, but he's definitely a guy that I feel he will always produce. He's going to produce every second he's on the floor. Like,
right.
I mean, I hated it. I hated it because I knew he was doing good last night. I'm like, everybody knows. I said from Jump Street, I want Portland to win.
Sure.
I want Portland to win the series. I still think they will win the series, but I don't want you to get beaten up on by somebody I don't like. It's just like whenever Rudy Gobert doing good. I hate it. I hate to see the person I don't like doing good.
Sure.
And Monte, every time he stepped within the three, I say he about to pull up and they can't stop it because he's too fast. They scared he gonna go around them. And every time Cash, like he's perfected at dribble pull up. And then
it's really nasty. His dribble pull up is nasty.
It's what you want from your backup point guard. It's like when Devontae Graham had his breakout.
Yeah,
literally similar. Like that they dribble pull up is one of them things you just afraid of it.
Right, you are
because they so fast that you already on your back pedal. So when they pull up, it's hard to defend it.
Yeah. And the two-man, and the other aspect of it was the two-man game that Denver loves to do, right? Like Morris was able to do so well to where it didn't feel like they lost a beat.
Yeah.
Like there were points in that game where I was like, man, they need Murray. This would be great to have Murray. But then Morris would make a play that's like, wow.
Yeah.
Like
he played like Jamal Murray of last playoffs.
He really does. And I think Morris is a guy. First up, I do think he's one of the best backup point guards in the league.
Yeah.
And if you ever watched him in college, like I did, or you've seen him, this is what he does. He studies an offense. He runs the offense efficiently. He puts guys in the right positions. He's clutch. I don't care that he missed that one. I don't care. He was 10 of 11 from the free throw line. And the only one he missed, sure. So you wish you would make it.
Yeah.
But 10 of 11 from the free throw line, you're doing fine. And he made enough big plays where it's like, you're just being nitpicky at this point if you want to make this free throw. He looked amazing. I thought, but there's a couple guys here that I feel like have to be touched on, and we'll start. I'll start with Jokic because it's Jokic. Jokic had 38 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists in the win. Jokic, to me, 46 minutes of action. The lost, I thought the lost weight of Jokic showed in this series, and it's shown in this series, and it showed last night. He didn't look near as flat.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like he had a little more energy. There were times where I got a little mad because I thought he settled top of the key three on Cantor or a couple shots like that. But he has, what he can do on the basketball court is just incredibly nuts. The way he can pass out of double teams. He had a couple cuts that were really awesome. This was just. This was a Nikola Jokic type of game. This is a game that makes you think for a second and say, is Nikola Jokic a top 5 guy? You may not think he is, but this is a game that just makes you think about it. He's making you think about it. Whether you think he is, whether you think he isn't, whatever. But this, if you don't sit there and he has to be in the consideration.
Yeah.
Whether you have him in there, fine, whatever. Everybody has different rankings in different ways.
Yeah.
But this was that type of performance from Nikola Jokic. And they needed it the most, and he delivered. It's pretty outstanding when you think about it.
I think it's funny because I said Portland might need a third overtime to win, referencing back to a couple years ago. But really, I think they still would have needed another overtime. But Rodney Hood wasn't coming in the game for them. So
No.
But it's crazy because I think the best performances of the playoffs has usually been coming from guys going against each other. And outside of Luka and the Kawhi battle, I believe personally that Dame versus Jokic is literally the same thing. Like,
I agree.
Those might be the top 4 players in the playoffs so far, just because every night they going at each other.
They've been amazing.
Now, Dame a guard and Jokic is a center, but we know who we coming to see. We know why we watching. We know that Jokic and Dame is go try to answer everything the other one do. They don't have to directly guard each other.
Right. 100%. No, they came out and looked so he came out and looked so good in the clutch. There was this he never made a bad decision. Like, and then the game, like overtimes, like he never made a decision that was like, yeah, that was the wrong basketball play.
Didn't rush
Like
nothing.
He didn't rush anything, which again only brings up our point of why Cantor should have been there because he would have given him more strength and tussle. But I think Jokic, to face the facts, he was making smart plays. He wasn't rattled. It wasn't even that nervous. He never showed the nervousness. I thought. I mean, why wasn't Austin Rivers in the league sooner, man? Like this, like, I mean, 18 points and 7 assists and hit big threes and
people
put his butt off on defense.
People don't think he moved the needle, but he definitely is a piece that can be he's just one of them guys that he can fill in. He doesn't have to move the needle. The fact that he can fill in means you don't fall.
Right. Exactly. And he didn't fall. Like he had a very solid game, played 47 minutes, second most on the team. I mean, just really impressive.
They needed him
game
bad.
from him. But you know who stepped up to the plate after kind of rough stretch was Michael Porter Jr. 10 of 13, 3 of 5. Porter had 26 points and 12 rebounds. To me, JD, the whole key for me, if Denver was going to win this series, was Porter has to take his game up to another level.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could argue he made the right play on defense to force CJ out of bounds at the end. And Porter he made big shots. Like, he made big shots. He made some shots in this game where, like, I told myself he would never have shot that like 2 years ago, or he would have gotten benched. If he shot it, he would have gotten benched. But Michael Porter is taking shots that it's just unbelievable when you think about his growth.
One of the best shot makers out of these young guys. I think, you know how we think of Kevin Durant and just being shot is a tough shot, because I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to fall into that. He's long. He jumps a lot higher than Kevin Durant on his shots. He does. So he get a lot more elevation. Like, I think he has a guard's touch.
Yeah.
I think he gonna end up being one of those guys that when he shoot it just always look like it could go in.
So natural. I mean, like the shots he had in the corner, unbelievable.
Just knew it was money.
Turnaround fade in the right wing.
That was tough.
He kept making everything, man. It was really fun to watch. But you know, JD, another player we talked about, I know Bryce and Zach mentioned him a lot, was Aaron Gordon. And I mean, he made some plays, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. A really good series for him. Like, this is why you traded what you traded. Good wing player, mixes and matches well defensively, fills the gaps offensively. I thought this was one of those games where, like, if you're Denver, you're like, thank you, we made that trade. Like, thank you.
Oh,
because I think he made a huge difference in this game. And like, if they had a Gary Harris, I don't know if they would have won it.
A lot of the things he did that made the difference, not even on the box sheet. He was boxing out on the level that Melo and Robert Covington couldn't get their little sneaky putbacks.
Right.
Like, Melo is a guy that for most of his career always been a great offensive rebounder.
Sure.
Aaron Gordon was, every time you see him now, I'm like, bro, Portland don't got nobody crashing. And a lot of times it's because Aaron Gordon was boxing out Melo.
Yep, he was. Yeah.
If it wasn't Kanter in the game, they had nobody but Melo crashing.
Right.
And he was doing that. He was doing simple stuff of tapping the ball up.
Yep, he was.
Like, he just was doing the things that's not accounted for. And I think that's what he excels at. Denver realizes it, and great fit.
Great fit. He looked awesome. I thought overall, like, I feel like Denver needed this game, or else maybe they would have fallen off a bit. Portland, I think, would have probably gone 2 in a row.
I think so.
If they won this. I think that was big for Denver to get, because it's one of those games where, like, if you lost it because you were up 20 early, it just wouldn't look good. Like, it'd be really tough, right? Really tough on you and tough on a club. As far as I'm concerned, a terrific series. We obviously have to think there will be 7 games, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. There's so much to talk about, so much to dissect. I'm not doing trivia today because we had so much game action to talk about. But JD, it was great to have you on. We'll be doing our big pod on Monday. We will not have a second LynnSanity pod. This pod we're doing right now will come out on Thursday, but we will. It'll come out today, basically. But not today, but it'll come out, on Thursday. And then we'll have the pod with me, JD, and Zach and Bryce all on Monday. We won't have a second LynnSanity this week. We'll work with that. From there, we have plenty coming up with the Power Hour. I believe they're recording one on Wednesday. They'll look to put that out awfully soon. We have plenty of content coming. Divine Ride just released an episode of the new J. Cole album, The Off Season. That there's plenty of to look at there. The Battlegrounds to put out an episode next week. Please don't be afraid to check out JD's Facts and Stats. If he's not talking playoffs, that's what he's working on. Please don't be afraid to check that out. Dylan Hughes has his book that he has. Go check it out. It's available on electronics and it's available through printed as well. So just check out the content that the network has. It's nothing short of phenomenal. And we're just going to have you ready for the rest of this NBA playoffs. It should be a treat. So once again, JD, thank you for coming on the LynnSanity.
Thank you. Absolutely enjoyed myself.